It's time for another Wild Time to catch you up on what we've been up to. We're currently at a place called Horsfall, Horsfall, in the Oregon Dune recreation area on the Oregon coast.
Yeah, last summer we spent a lot of time on the northern Oregon coast, and since we love the coast so much, this year we're spending some time more in the central southern part of the coast, and we're going to share some of the things that we've been up to in this area.
Something that we really like to do, that we talk about in many of our videos, is to immerse ourselves in a local area and then try to explore and hopefully find some of the lesser known attractions.
Yeah, we typically will check out a local museum as kind of a jumping off point, just to kind of get the history and background of the area. So we went to the Coos Bay Museum, which we discovered has free admission on the second Sunday. So if you happen to be in an area when they are doing things like that, you know, that's something that's
take advantage of it.
You can take advantage of, definitely. So we did that and checked out the local museum there, and it was interesting.
Yeah, it has a lot of the history for the area, and much of what had to do with logging and using the bay and just the different channels around Coos Bay. And it's kind of neat because you get to just take a step back in time and see how people lived, you know, primarily in the early days of the settlement and everything. So quite fascinating. It's just interesting. I mean, we've been to places like the Smithsonian and stuff like that, surely very big museums, but some of these little ones are just really neat. I mean, they're just so full of just awesome stuff to look at, and just I haven't seen a lot of those types of things in the larger museums, so it's really interesting.
It's very interesting. Another thing that we checked out in this area is the Marine Life Center. The University of Oregon has their marine biology department, actually studies in the bay in Charleston, Oregon here, and so they have a Marine Life Center that's open Wednesday through Saturday, and $5 admission, so it was a great thing to check out. And they had some really interesting, some microscopes and you know, things that you could look
a lot of hands-on stuff.
Some hands-on stuff.
Yeah, we met up with some family, had some family time there. We don't have family or friends in the southern Oregon area, but we've had a lot of family and friends meet up with us in the area, so whenever we can, we join with them. But there was a lot of hands-on stuff. They had that one thing where you could push buttons on this screen where whales would make the noise, so you could push a button for the corresponding whale to hear the noise that they make, or you could record your own and play it back. And they had the little petting ponds. What do you call those things?
The little tide pool kind of
little
things.
Little tide pool, touch the anemones and some of the little fish and stuff, and lots of the skeletons of huge whales, and just a whole host of sea life things in there. It was pretty interesting for a little small area museum.
Yeah, it was a little more than I kind of expected it to be, but it was definitely worth checking out. Another place that we checked out was in Bandon, Oregon. It's basically an art museum, I guess you would say. It's called Washed Ashore.
Very unique one.
Very unique museum. They have created incredible works of art out of trash that they have found on the beach.
The unfortunate irony. And it's quite substantial in there, and they're doing such great work, and they're getting the message out, and I think in a very unique way, about how to help, you know. I mean, we just all need to do our part any way that we can to keep the pollution down. I mean, it's a no-brainer. No one needs to be preached at about it. It's just we all know that we need to do something, and so we've been trying to do whatever we can to get rid of the plastic bags and straws and things like that. But they have done these different events where they go around on beaches and just comb for debris and trash, and they've just pulled tons and tons and tons and tons of this stuff out of the ocean, and then they've just I guess repurposed it into art and made an exhibit, and even traveling ones.
Yeah, and
to show
some
off
of the
their work.
things that they have put together are just amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And you know us, one of the other things that we really like to do is to check out the wildlife, especially Susan. We
Yeah.
both appreciate it quite a bit and have a lot of fun doing that. So we set out to do some of that just recently.
Yeah, we returned to a place that we had visited last year called the West Coast Game Park. This is kind
Also
of
with family.
Yeah, a smaller park, but you can really get up close and personal with the animals. You can feed some of them, you can hold some of them. So it's a great place to kind of get a little closer look with some of the animals and
Yeah,
interact with them a little
and
bit.
it's small enough to where you can get in and out in a couple hours easily. It's a quick stop, and it's right on 101 in the Bandon area, South of Bandon a ways, and it's just an easy in, easy out. It's worth taking a look at. And then we went a little bit more inland and went to wildlife safari.
Yeah, that was really interesting. That's
Lot
a
bigger.
drive-through park, a 600-acre drive-through park, and some interesting things happen when the animals,
Yeah,
they get free reign of the place.
Yeah, they're pretty much roaming around in there. It's not unlike Yellowstone in that respect. You know, if they cross the road, they cross the road.
Yeah.
You're just going to have to yield to them. And so we had some close-up encounters with various types of animals, bison, buffalo, the giraffes, and there were lions, tigers, and bears.
Yeah.
And what else did we
You can
see?
feed some of the animals there as well, in certain parts
Deer.
of it. Some of the little deer, some of the really cute, interesting little deer.
Yeah,
not
they come
the
right
ones
up
that we
to the
usually
vehicle, and
see,
you can
but-
feed them right out of your automobile.
And Wildlife Safari
Specialized diets.
is famous for their cheetah breeding program, and they have a cheetah that has been raised with a dog, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
And they are the best of friends and keep each other company, and it was just kind of an ironic twist of animal friendship, I guess.
Yeah, and
that,
they're well known for the cheetahs there. I guess they've probably bred more than any place on the earth there, I think,
Yeah,
successfully,
very
with over 100 different breeding cycles there. Yeah, I have just a slight little disconnect with some of the training and stuff that they do with animals in these places. Not to get on a rant here, but they had little clickers, and they were having them having a cheetah say, "Give me your paw," and doing little tricks and things like that. That's a little bit outside of the range of what I would expect or think, but they work intimately with them, and they're doing a good thing overall. So that's kind of what I try to get out of it, is the overall message and what they're trying to accomplish, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I was more impressed with just the dog and the cheetah just playing together, just on their own. You know, just that's the way that they do things.
A lot of
It's the way they
object
get along.
lessons there.
Yeah. And then we actually, another place that was a little inland that we traveled was called the Cascades Raptors Center. They have amazing
All kinds of birds of prey.
rehabilitation program there, and they release a lot of the animals once they're rehabilitated, but the ones that they can't release are there, and you can see them. A lot of different owls.
Some of these are substantially disabled, and they wouldn't make it anywhere else, so the good people there are taking care of them. And we've seen plenty of owls, and lots of hawks and eagles, golden eagles and bald eagles, just so many different types of birds of prey, and just unique information there too. You can read a lot about the uniqueness of each one of these birds, and there's many there. And we just had a really good time there. We're with some family there that we met up with, and that worked out really well. We always enjoy going to these places, and we try to help in any way that we can.
And then just kind of a natural place that we go. I've gone a few times just to check out the sea lions and the seals, is called Simpson Reef, and it's just a kind of an overlook, and you can look out onto the reef, and there's a big beach out in the reef that the seals and the sea lions just flock to, and you can always go out there and hear them just barking and carrying on. And if you've got a set of binoculars, that really helps, because you find out there's way more out there than you thought there was at first glance.
There's literally hundreds of them, if not more than that. But yeah, it's quite a thing. And then there are other trails that you can hike down to and get a little bit closer. They do block it off during the time when they're having pups and things like that. They don't want you down there, so they section that off seasonally. But we're okay with being at a distance. We just like the scenery and seeing the wildlife out there uninhibited. You know, it's just being able to observe them without interrupting what they normally do is our preference.
Another thing we like to do when we're going to be in an area for a while is just check out the local events and activities that are going on. Any kind of festivals or just events that you know, may not be very well known that are going on that we can check in on.
Yeah, it's always good to look at some of the local event calendars, and we're always looking at posters when we're in different places like visitor centers and such, things like that. Little grocery stores, they'll have little posters in the windows or what have you. Yeah, we're always looking for stuff like that. And one of the things that we found that was unique is something that they do on the I guess it's basically just the southern Oregon coast area, central southern, is an event called Circles in the Sand, and it's several times during the summer on the weekends, and it's just quite a spectacular thing to behold.
Yeah, it was really amazing. They usually do it in the Bandon area, and they create these huge labyrinth mazes in the sand. I mean, these are huge. When you walk it, it's over a half mile. So they're very large and very intricate and involved, and they just have volunteers that go out and basically rake out the design at low tide, and then it's sort of supposed to be like a meditative kind of
in your own way, however, whatever you want to contemplate.
Walk, and when you start the walk, they will give you a little rock from their collection to kind of meditate with, I guess, while you walk. But it just kind of gets you into your thinking space, and it's very enjoyable.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because they do not make any types of dead ends or any tricks to it or anything like that. You're basically just following a path as it meanders around through what is a colossal piece of art.
Yeah.
And you're able to get up high and get some shots from up above and just see the whole thing, which is really fascinating. By the way, we're in the Oregon Dune recreation area, so if you're hearing a lot of motors in the background right now, that's exactly what's going on. People are enjoying the dunes out there.
Yeah, we're supposed to be in an area that they are not allowed, but you know, some of them, the noise just carries on the beach. So.
Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful piece of art, though. We enjoyed it quite a bit, and if we can get back to that again, we will. We really appreciated it. We were even able to participate a little bit. They allow just spectators to kind of in one area just pick up and draw whatever you want and just kind of be part of what's going on. But it was a very nice gathering.
It's always different. They do it several weekends through the summer, and so we will definitely check that out again if we have time. Another thing that I found was they did a little Shakespeare in the park, you know, just to get some culture and just check out the park. It was a really nice little park, and you know, just kind of fun afternoon to hang out. And
that's Mingus Park. We went there. It's kind of a quaint little park with some nice little bridges, and I don't know if I was quite up to it that day because I didn't know if this was what level of play this was, but it was nice. We were able to sit down in the park on a beautiful day and just take in some of the acting and a little bit of the music. It was a little bit different for me, but it worked out. You know, and that's what it's all about for us, is trying different things and exploring. So we had a good time.
Yeah. And let's see, what else? did we do? Oh, we've done a lot of beach combing, of course.
Yeah. Beach combing. We're always
beach
looking
for different
fascinating little things. So walking a lot of the beaches, and we also set our hands to crabbing a little bit. And we did this on a couple different occasions with family, and just kind of you know, not far from RV parks and things, we'll just go to some type of public dock, and we put crab traps off the side and pull them up, and we were able in one time to get over 200 non-keepers.
Yeah.
We got a lot of small crabs. We had a couple of them that were borderline, but we did not keep them. They have to be, for Dungeness crab, they have to be 5 3/4 inches across the main part of the body, and if they're not, you put them back in the water or you pay $300. The annual shellfish license to be able to do it is only $10, and so it's just not worth it on many levels. So we turned them all loose right away, and they were all happy to swim off, but we had a good time anyway.
Yeah, we caught some red rock crab that you can keep at any size basically, and people do eat them, but they were pretty small, and it just seemed like it was going to be a lot of work to get, so we turned them back as well.
So they were all happy to be back at what they do, crabbing around. Well, that's basically what we've been up to, quite a bit actually. As far as what we're going to be doing, we're planning on spending the next several weeks working on some more practical videos, some tips and things like that, and then moving on to some destination type videos.
Yes, once we've determined what our next destination is going to be.
Yeah, we have a few options which involve either going east or to finish up some more stuff that we'd like to do in the Southwest, and we haven't quite nailed all that down yet, so that's going to be on our agenda for planning too.
Yeah, so don't forget to share, subscribe, and click on that little notification bell.
Thanks for watching. Okay, Susan's going to try to put on a survival suit. She's got to do it 1 minute or less. Go.
Yeah, you can't do this with your shoes on.
Lesson number 1. 1 foot might make it through this tragedy, folks. No surviving today.
There we go. Wow. What? You're supposed to zip it.